All right, and good afternoon or evening or whatever you guys want to call it. Welcome to this Q&A live stream. It's approximately 6:42 right here on the East Coast. And yeah, so we have a lot to talk about today. Um, so we're going to get started. So a couple of things. Obviously, the big one was definitely Joanne Fabrics. That was the big bankruptcy that was announced this week. I'm just getting my monitor up, working here. I have to plug this in here. There we go. So yeah, we're back to doing one of these Q&A live streams again because you guys seem to really like these little streaming content things. So figured we would keep going with this because you guys seem to really like and just to really enjoy the content itself. So I'm actually going to go ahead here and open up a Safari browser in case I have to go over some specific things. It's a beautiful Tuesday. So let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. So we got that up. Okay. Let me go ahead and get the laptop a little bit more within line. What I love about this 1080p camera on my laptop that I got a MacBook Pro. It really does show my face a lot better. So definitely, I mean, going from a 720p camera that was just it was awful for such a long time, and now this 1080p camera, it's really nice. It's a shame it took this long, but technology is technology at the end of the day, unfortunately. So all right, so we're going to give people a few minutes to go ahead and join here. I couldn't exactly do the stream right away, so that's probably why too. We're seeing a lot of people. The days are getting longer, which is nice. We're officially we 2 weeks ago we ended up gaining. I think the last time we ended up streaming was we were still in standard time. Daylight savings started March 10th, so now this is the first live stream of the year that's outside of daylight savings, or in daylight savings rather. Sorry, but it is nice to have that extra hour of sunlight. Last week I was on spring break, and it is actually my very last spring break. But it was nice to have the week off and to see it was beautiful last week in the Northeast. It was in the 60s. It went up to 70 a couple of days. It was beautiful outside. It's definitely the weather I miss, and it was a nice little taste of spring. And it's to say that spring is definitely on its way. The weather is definitely going to get warmer as we move through the rest of March and April and May, and just the weather's really just going to be a lot nicer. So I'd usually take walks. So I'd definitely be taking advantage of the weather of when it's really nice out. So that is I'm very happy to be doing that. So anyways, looks like there's not a lot of questions or anything, but we're definitely going to keep having the whole questions and everything. So hi, Nicole Solar. How are you? All right, so finally we got some people putting some stuff in the chat, and I apologize if it ends up coming in a minute late. Just again, that is how my thing is operated here. So Family Dollar closing 1,000 stores. I just saw on the NJ Warren Notice website that they're actually laying off about 94 workers. 94 workers. They didn't say specifically which stores are going to close, but we're definitely getting some closings in New Jersey, especially if there was a Warren Notice filed with the state of New Jersey. Like I said, I think the Lodi one will definitely close. It's very close to a Dollar Tree. And at the end of the day, again, going back to operations and everything, it just doesn't make sense for them to keep that particular Family Dollar in business. So I'll definitely have to take a look if they do announce some sort of liquidation to that store. Nothing yet on Rite Aid and Hackensack. There's a couple more liquidations going on with Rite Aid. I think their SP360 right now is liquidating a Rite Aid in New Brunswick. So that's interesting, I guess. So yeah. Trying to see what else we got going on here. Nothing yet on Jo-Ann Fabrics. They haven't released a list yet, but there are some more Family Dollars that they're trickling out, and there's no like official list yet for Family Dollar. It's really just smaller stores, and then I don't know what else. Starbucks is threatening to close their Trenton store because of obviously, I guess the area and the community that they're in. But I guess they federal and state officials are lobbying because, of course, they want Starbucks there. So, yeah, we just don't know yet what the Macy's list is. Apparently, from what I hear, the Macy's list isn't going to get released until May, unless somebody wants to lose their job. They might end up leaking the list, but I haven't seen anything yet in terms of. I haven't seen anything in terms of closings and stuff. So. Other than right now, San Francisco is closing. I think there's a couple in New Jersey that are closing too. I'd be really shocked though if Ocean County decided to close, especially given that mall has a J.C. Penney and a Boscov's. But like for an example, like Livingston, I get, and what's it called, and East Brunswick, I get those two. I think they're supposed to be closing one in the Bronx. There's a small one in the Bronx that they're supposed to be closing. Hamptons isn't mentioned, but we'll see. I mean, there's nothing official yet. But I'm sure we'll find out pretty soon of which Macy's stores are closing. Monmouth is a tough one. It might close. The problem, see, and I don't mean to get into politics here, but I'll briefly go over this thing just for the sake that it ties into retail. No political stuff here. So Jared Kushner, the owner of Kushner Companies, owns Monmouth Mall. Monmouth Mall currently has a Macy's store. So guess who has a clothing line at Macy's? Ivanka Trump. So it would be a conflict of interest for them to close that Macy's store because Ivanka Trump, who is Jared Kushner's wife, wouldn't be so happy with his father, and if they end up closing the store. So I think personally they're going to keep Macy's Monmouth Mall. I think it'll close in the second or third round, but I don't necessarily think Macy's at Monmouth will be in the first round. I do definitely think that we could definitely say goodbye to Macy's Livingston in the first round. Macy's Brunswick Square, it's a 50-50. Definitely Macy's Hamilton Mall. I mean, I get it. It's a Macy's store outside of Atlantic City, but it's a 3-level Macy's in absolutely the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's just, the J.C. Penney closed in 2019 along with Smith Haven, and the Sears closed in 2017. So, I mean, the fact that Macy's that Macy's in Hamilton Mall has held on since 1988. I mean, and there's been no changes and no renovations. I mean, let's be realistic here. It's a 3-level Macy's in the middle of nowhere. Despite it being outside of Atlantic City, it's not looking good for that Macy's, unfortunately. And the mall that it's in too is not in great shape either. I'll definitely have to go down to that mall. I mean, I haven't been down in that mall for a long time. So, Macy's Woodbridge Center. No, I think Macy's Woodbridge Center is okay for now, despite them downsizing that store. Woodbridge Center, despite the Sears and Lord and Taylor shutting down, is still a pretty decent mall, and there's still a decent amount of restaurants. Like there's a Dave & Buster's there, there's a Red Robin, there's an Applebee's. There's a decent amount of food there, so I don't necessarily think Macy's is going to pull out of there just yet. Plus, you have a JCPenney, plus you have a Boscov's, plus you have Dick's Sporting Goods. So I don't necessarily think that Macy's would be, or rather, Macy's would be pulling out of Woodbridge Center. At least not yet. I just don't see them pulling out of Woodbridge Center just yet. So, hot low, it's the G-Man. How are you? What else? Let's see here. I don't think we're gonna get any more store closing announcements anytime soon. So Okay. Oh, I'm sure it'll probably be in the. It'll definitely be in the third. It'll be in the third round, if anything. It won't be in the first or second, but it would definitely make the third, along with like Comac or something. But who knows? So that because I mean, if Joanne Fabrics is being bought by a private equity firm, we know where that's going to lead to. So I don't know how to say this. So private equity firms are pretty much these organizations where they're not necessarily buying the business to keep it alive. They're they're buying the business to market the real estate to another tenant. So it's not necessarily, I mean, the private equity firm, yes, they do pump cash into the company, but it's really just putting a band-aid on something, meaning that eventually the reality is Joanne Fabrics will very likely have to cease operations, but they might have a little bit of cash to get them through. I don't necessarily know if they're going to make crazy announcements in terms of store closings, but it's definitely something that that'll have a ripple effect down the road. Now, the other problem is Joanne Fabrics is a craft store. Well, you have thousands of other craft stores. You have Michaels. You have, what are some other stores? Hobby Lobby, Big Lots. You know, you have a lot of other miscellaneous stores. So Joanne Fabrics, and not to mention you have the big players. You have Walmart, Target. Guess what? They also sell crafts. You could buy crafts on Amazon. You can buy crafts at Dollar Tree stores. And not to mention, you could buy crafts at Dollar Tree stores where they're a lot cheaper than your typical Joanne Fabric store. So it's very hard, especially when you don't have a certain type of experience. And I think that's what a lot of these other retailers are struggling with. So it's a hard bargain. And, you know, the only Joanne Fabrics right now is we have one up in Paramus. I guess I'll have to take a store tour of it if they end up closing that particular location. But it's definitely not looking good for Joanne Fabrics. That is for sure. Yeah, that was an outdated ShopRite, so I'm certainly not surprised. So I'm not surprised about that at all. So I could take a look at that ShopRite in Old Bridge. It's probably isn't it a world class one? Or is it a regular ShopRite? Wow, it looks beautiful. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh yeah, yeah. That sounds like that'll be a world class ShopRite too, since it's in that central Jersey area of the state. Babies R Us and Kohl's. You know, I think WHP Global was probably disappointed with the results in Toys R Us with Macy's. So the way that I see this is they was probably very disappointing. So WHP Global is probably walking to Kohl's and saying, "Can you do Babies R Us for us?" So they want to see how Babies R Us does. And if Babies R Us does well, guess who loses the Toys R Us IP? Macy's, because then Toys R Us will be inside of Kohl's. Because think about it, then you'd have Babies R Us and Toys R Us inside of Kohl's. I mean, instead of Toys R Us being inside of Macy's. It would be a sad and sweet, bitter blow, but you know what? You got to look at it this way. Um, you know, you know, you got to look at it this way. The reason why I say that is because they would rather have more locations in off mall locations. They were probably disappointed with the Toys R Us results inside of Macy's. Now that's not to say that it was a bad idea, But the challenge is, are people really going to go through a Macy's store to go all the way up to 3 to go to Toys R Us? I don't know. So maybe that's why they're not trusting Macy's with Babies R Us, because believe me, if Toys R Us did so well in Macy's, you could have better believe that WHP Global would have said, yeah, you guys can take on Babies R Us too. So I think it's a sign that maybe signing on with Macy's wasn't a great idea, but it's probably hard for them to get out of the contract unless Macy's, says that they'll do something, or Kohl's will give Macy's cash for Toys R Us and they need the cash. I don't know. And that could very well happen. They could end up giving cash to Macy's, and Macy's could use the cash to help their stores, but it would result in them losing all Toys R Us IPs in the Toys R Us license, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because then Toys R Us could be in those off-mall strip locations, which is, I think, something that they really miss. And you really can't get that with Macy's. So I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe that if the Babies R Us is successful inside of Kohl's, I could very well see WHP Global saying that they want to get out of their contract early and they want to sign on with Kohl's. But I don't know. It's a wait and see process. Like I said, Babies R Us has to do very well during the holiday season to perform very well inside the Kohl's stores to convince them to take on Toys R Us as well. And it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world too, because if you go inside a Kohl's department store, one section you have Toys R Us, the other section you have Babies R Us. Having the two brands within inside the same store definitely helps, because cross-brand recognition, promotion, and not both IPs being in different stores. You put the two IPs together, it's a recipe for success. I mean, I don't know. We got to see how this Babies R Us thing does first. So, I don't necessarily. I haven't heard anything about that. So. Yeah, they kept the whole. I mean, oh yes, J.C. Penney Willowbrook. Excuse me, Lord and Taylor. I'm happy that they definitely relocated. They definitely needed to. I mean, that J.C. Penney and Wayne was way too big for them, and they wanted an out, and that was their out. The store itself, it felt like a Lord and Taylor. They even kept the original signs up. I knew that they were going to cut corners with it, because J.C. Penney isn't exactly a good company. It was really just to check a box for Brookfield. What are my thoughts on it? It's okay. It's nothing like, oh my gosh, it's, but it definitely doesn't feel like a J.C. Penney. It literally feels like it feels exactly like a Lord and Taylor, and it's pretty much like they just put a bunch of spray paint on the front and just to put a J.C. Penney sign in front and connect it to the mall. Not a bad thing. Not saying it's bad. I do wish they could have done more renovations, but I guess given they had a tight, move schedule, they couldn't necessarily do like the modifications for it to be a J.C. Penney. They maybe modified maybe one or two sections of the store, but I mean, other than that, pretty much what Lord and Taylor was. But it does certainly help Willowbrook. It's definitely a good thing for Willowbrook, because it does roster the Willowbrook anchor lineup. You have now a Macy's, a JCPenney, and a Bloomingdale's all under the same roof. That's in addition to a BJ's Wholesale Club, Yard House, those other tenants inside the Sears stores, the Cinemark Cinema Movie Theater, and a Dave & Buster's. So it's a pretty decent lineup of stores at Willowbrook. Not like the great lineup, but I mean, hey, we're in 2024. The fact that Willowbrook Mall has 3 department stores in a New Jersey mall in 2024 is definitely something to be proud of, for sure. And honestly, I think too, Urban Edge wanted JCPenney out of Wayne Town Center, so now Urban Edge got their wish. So now they're probably going to completely knock down that JCPenney store. And I'm sure that they're going to probably put up housing or something there. That's going to be a whole spot for them to redevelop. So they're definitely going to put some sort of housing there, because that's really what that area is going to get next. And the JCPenney spot is the perfect spot for them to put housing. That is for sure. But definitely interesting to see, for sure. Sad that the mall elevator was broken when I went, but that's all right. I'll get back there at some point. So that's correct. Macy's is not closing at Woodbridge Center. A new brewery seems to be wanting to open up at Freehold Raceway. I guess there must be some sort of vacancy there. Not that I care for it, not that it matters, because it's not like it's a full department store. It's not something I got to make a video about, but just interesting for sure. So it seems that nobody really has any questions here. Well, there is a decent amount of people on here. So yeah, I didn't see that one. I've not seen that video. So Sorry about that, guys. All right, so I do have the chat up here. So we're gonna take a look at. See, now this is repeating, so I got to put that on mute. Okay, let me go ahead and reload this page real quick because I don't want this to interrupt the stream and everything. Okay, all right, let's get to some of the questions here. Hello, Cameron, how are you? Ricky is doing fine. I'm planning on seeing him on Thursday. Scott, I'm doing very well. Locations. Yeah, those are the one. Tom's River, no. Eatontown, no. But definitely East Brunswick, Livingston, and Macy's for sure. Yeah, we're going to wait for the list at the moment. I'm not really going to say that Macy's Manhasset is going to close. I think it's a dumb move, but I think it's more for a real estate reason, which is retarded, but I'm not the one making those decisions. So, whatever. And going out of business. No, just bankruptcy for now. Okay, I don't like this whole double thing, so we're actually going to go ahead and close out of this. Close out of that. There we go. Okay, much better. Yeah, unfortunately, it's the sun still sets at a relatively early time, so there's certainly that for sure. 2026. It wouldn't surprise me if they waited till the bitter end of the list. Sears closures? Nope, just the two. Jersey City was obviously planned. They announced it in January, and then the abrupt closure of Palm Beach Gardens because Forbes Company wanted them out. Like that was like they literally just closed without any notice. I was crazy. I like, you know what's crazy to think? I definitely I ended up calling the mall. I gotta get rid of this little card thing here. I ended up calling the mall, and they said yeah, like they found out today. So. Yeah, but it's not looking good. And usually, when a private equity firm buys a company, I really think it's going to convert to Chapter 7. I don't necessarily. They're saying that now, but I honestly the suppliers are going to screw them over and like they're going to be done. I'm surprised Rite Aid is in. Haven't gone under yet, but I don't know. People keep playing around in the stock market for that one. Raymond Marquez. You know, he's a real character on LinkedIn. I mean, it's you know, and it's and Eddie's the one holding the strings, and Raymond Marquez is the face of an ugly company. That's really what it is at this point. But what am I? See, I could waste my time right now doing a rant on Eddie Lampert, but the problem is there's only 11 Sears stores and like 7 or 6 Kmart's. By the way, out on the Virgin Islands, there's already a Walmart that's a future development, so we already know Walmart future development. Say goodbye to Kmart. No, they won't. Make the Arkover takeover won't happen. That's just activist investors interested in the real estate. Because the problem is the real estate of the department store buildings, like the physical locations of the buildings, their take is that it's more valuable than the merchandise that they actually sell, which I just don't think is true. And we're not. And Macy's is not at that point yet where they have to sell everything off. So yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt that they will close. I'm telling you something. Once they get a tenant for both Burbank, California, and Union Gap, Washington, they're going to once again close. Look at what they did with that Sears in Houston, Texas, at Willowbrook. Didn't last very long, so I think, yeah, I would think Smith. Yeah, Smith Haven is. I mean, Smith Haven just got recognized as the #1 mall in Long Island, and Whitman, of course, is safe. You got Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Saks Fifth Avenue. So yeah, that one's definitely safe for sure. I don't know. It really comes down to real estate. So no, there's no Walmart that's opening in Bridgehampton. The only way Kmart in Bridgehampton would close is that if TJX companies decided to bring out HomeSense and Sierra Trading Post, which honestly they could very well do. They could honestly very well bring those brands out to the Hamptons, and that's the end of Bridgehampton Kmart, pretty much. Hampton-based Macy's, I'm not surprised if there's rumors going around about that one closing. No, I just hear they're not doing well. Again, it's all about real estate. They're trying to block it because they want competition. I don't understand that one either because Manhasset, there's money. There's a lot of old money there. It's Manhasset is pretty much the New Jersey version of the New York the Manhasset money, the like old money on the North Shore of Long Island is pretty much the version of New Jersey, Short Hills, and Millburn where all that old money is. Because old money is like retired people, people that actually go in. By the way, I love the mall at Short Hills. I was actually just there. What was it, 3 weeks ago? Because I had an event out there. I freaking love that mall. It really is one of my favorites. The decor is a little dated. I will say it is a little dated. I can't say I can't deny that in 2024. But I mean, it is a kick-ass mall still. Even in 2024, it's a kick-ass mall. It puts American Dream to shame. I mean, look, I'm not saying anything bad about American Dream because I want to. I still think American Dream definitely has its upsides. Like, of course, the mall at Short Hills doesn't have an indoor water park or an indoor theme park. That argument can definitely be made for sure. But in terms of luxury stores, in terms of the lineup of stores, Short Hills takes the cake. Okay, the mall okay, American Dream has that luxury, but that's a tiny piece. Short Hills is luxury through and through, meaning from where you start at like either Neiman Marcus or Bloomingdale's, you're going to have all luxury stores all the way through. American Dream, you don't get that same experience. And you don't even get that same experience at Westfield Garden State. You get more of a mix. Mixes are okay. They're not bad, just not great. So, yeah, it's pretty much like Lord and Taylor. It's really not that impressive, but it's like you would walk through Lord and Taylor. It pretty much it feels exactly like Lord and Taylor when Lord and Taylor was there. If Dollar Tree ends up putting a store there, then yeah, Kmart in Miami, I guess, would close Kendall Lakes. So I guess Hilco would be the liquidator. Yeah, they're making some sort of comeback. They're trying. Yeah, it definitely would. Definitely. Yes, Kenneth, you're definitely right about that. Yes, Dollar Tree is a horrible place to work. Sometimes even the store's only run by one person, and then they put notices outside. We quit. Yeah. I mean, Dollar Tree is horrible. That's from what I hear, from what I've read online. Um, I've definitely read that online. It's not a great place to work, unfortunately. So, yeah. Yes, that's correct. The nicest looking J.C. Penney. I don't know. No, they won't do another store there. Hudson's big company. They don't even do department stores now. Now they just market their buildings as real estate. Even the existing operating Saks Fifth Avenue locations. Yeah, Dollar Tree is not a good place to work. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I keep thinking, where else? Oh, they were in that strip. Yeah, Cost Plus World Market. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Wow, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. Urban Edge signed a lease for them. They're going where that was always weird. They're going where Last Call was. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting little lineup. That's gonna be an interesting lineup. What do we got here? Got some sort of notification here. Well, that's good. That's definitely good. I mean, they're trying to get some entertainment in there, which is good. I mean, you got that Dave and Buster's. Definitely more entertainment is good. No, I didn't know that. No, they're definitely not closing that Macy's at Quaker Bridge. That's the only Macy's in Mercer County. So to answer your question about that one, definitely not. Yeah, 4-level JCPenney store in 2024 is definitely rare. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if that's a seasonal thing. Or I don't know if that's like a short-term lease, but that's interesting. They're probably going to rotate it. Yeah, but they're probably trying to redevelop Sunrise, and I guess they're under pressure from the town. So, oh, of course, that's always lovely. No, because there's no Sears store closing right now. There's no reason for me to do an Eddie Lampert rant. He milked on the real estate. What is there for me to rant on? I mean, I get it. People really love my Eddie Lampert rants. Clearly, it's a driver, but yeah, I mean, he really let Sears go to crap. So there's no more Sears in New Jersey. They just closed Newport 2 weeks ago. They closed Newport. That was the end of Sears in New Jersey. There's no more Sears locations left in the state. Oh, with Dillard's Clearance Center, yeah, your mall's in trouble. Oh, and what is that? Christ Fellowship? Oh yeah, yeah, the mall's really dead. Hmm. Well, Rite Aid is a Pennsylvania-based company, so I'm not surprised, personally. If they get a tenant for Braintree, Massachusetts Sears, yeah, they'll close it. They'll 100% close it. That's correct. Braintree, Massachusetts, or I got to get on a plane and fly down to Florida, which I don't think I would do that. But, anyways. Rite Aid. Yeah, I have to try and get to the Rite Aid whenever they close in Hackensack. Whenever they close that one, I'll have to get there. I really want to get the Family Dollar whenever they make that announcement. Dillard's doesn't like the Northeast market. That's all I can say about that. Which is smart because the Northeast market, of course, is the Macy's turf. Yes, I heard about the Netflix house. Um, I guess it would be okay. It would actually add to the American Dream restaurant lineup. See, and I don't dislike American Dream, and I know people think, oh, you're so biased with Short Hills and everything, and you're this and you're that, and I mean, no, but when you've been to different malls and different properties across the state, you can tell what's a good mall, what's an okay mall, and what's like a mall that just has to close. Um, again, I think 555 really has it down with the entertainment. I think the theme park and the water park, definitely those are the biggest draws for that shopping mecca. And personally, I think it was a smart decision to put those things there. I mean, an indoor water park and theme park in New York City, especially that close to New York City, is unreal. So I think that's what the mall has going for it. And it's just, yeah. So, but to follow up on that, I'm not saying, but American Dream, it's not a luxury destination. I mean, okay, yes, it has a luxury wing, but that wing is so small. So, you know, there's certainly that. I don't know. That's a long drive for a Sears, for sure. If Saks were to go in the former Lord and Taylor space at Manhasset, say goodbye to Saks Walt Whitman. Topanga. Westfield Topanga is like the West Coast version of Westfield Garden State Plaza. I don't know what he's trying to do with that. Marquez, he came from New York and Company, and that should tell you all about the direction that Sears is going to go in. Thinking of that song, never mind. I don't know who the new buyer is. I could, but see, I would need a reason to be in Boston. I could, hypothetically. I know. I'm definitely going to try and get back to the West Coast at some point. I just don't know when I'm going to be back there again. So. Rodolph Goodman? That's a nice store. I was in there once with those Otis Lexans. Interesting. Yeah, they're probably going to end up closing the department stores. Yeah, I definitely have to get back to that mall again before it starts dying. So, but anyways, yeah, there still is. There's a 2-level one in Paramus with an Otis Series 1. Used to be Fortunoff. Yeah, well, I don't know how long that's going to last. Kohan Investment Group? I don't know. Yeah, I was in Livingston 3 weeks ago. That place is dying. That place is dying. Well, I don't think Westfield messed up there. I think it was that person on the town of Oyster Bay that doomed them all. So, yeah, I film escalators, especially when they're closing in stores. It just makes sense at that point. But yeah, so wow, there's a lot of people on here. There's a lot of you on here. Yeah, Westfield wants to keep their good malls. Yeah, I know. I can't believe they were roommates in college. Steve Mnuchin was roommates with Eddie Lampert. Just what you know what I call that? What a turn of events that Steve Mnuchin, when he became the Treasury Secretary, was roommates with Eddie Lampert, who completely destroyed Sears. I find that so funny. I really do. Gotta love Eddie. Oh, Qdoba moved? I'm not surprised. Probably Urban Edge was charging them a ridiculous amount for rent. Well, we know what's all going to happen with that. And then once El Paso Sears downsizes, say goodbye to Sears because they'll take up the first level too, and then they'll close the store. I don't even know what college they went to, and I really don't want to know. I mean, if someone knows, let me know. I'd actually get a laugh out of it. But believe it or not, I actually have to close my window here because now it's actually getting. Believe it or not, it's actually now getting dark out. I really hate doing this, but yeah, well, it is what it is, I guess. I'm probably not going to be on here for much longer because I'm honestly pretty tired. I had a long day yesterday and I want to get some sleep thing. Yeah, I saw. I'm not going to make a video on that. I already know the spot. I did my research. I'm not going to sit here and make a video about it. So yeah, but they don't do that anymore. I mean, it's just a matter of time before they close the rest of them. So yeah, if we don't have any further questions, well, we'll go to the hour mark and then we'll probably, because I'm honestly pretty tired, and I'm gonna probably take a look and see what other questions you guys have, and then we're probably gonna wrap it up because I am tired and I would like to relax for a little bit. But I did want to come on here and do another live stream with you. No new Costco news, but that's interesting that they have a new CEO and a CFO. So, but I think we'll end it here. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.